Hi everyone, welcome to Cobalt Academia's Hacking After video series. I'm Busra, aka RU1R0, an offensive security researcher and a pen test architect at Cobalt.io. With Hacking After video series, we see how to exploit vulnerabilities that we encounter every day during pen tests. In this specific video, we will see how to exploit CSRF, aka Cross-Site Request Forgery vulnerability by using different scenarios. If you're ready, let's jump in. In this video, we will see how to exploit CSRF, aka Cross-Site Request Forgery vulnerability by using Portswigger's lab. There are around 8 exercises in this lab, and it comes from apprentice to practitioner. You can think more of beginner to intermediate exercises. This vulnerability is not a vulnerability with so many scenarios. I mean, if you're thinking of XSS as call injection, you will realize that there are so many different technologies, different attack methods, different WAFs to bypass. But with CSRF, there are a couple of things that you need to know. Of course, there are crazy scenarios that you may see in bug bounty or pentest too, but if we are going with the safe methods, we can count a couple of them, and it's not so hard to find them. And I really like, again, Portswigger's lab because they put all the scenarios, almost all the scenarios that you can see during pentest, bug bounty, or any ethical hacking that you're doing. So I already fired up all the tabs. If you're ready, let's jump in. The first one is with no defense. That means the pure CSRF that you can solve. I have Burp Pro account, so there is an engagement tool that will allow you to create your proof of concept for a CSRF attack automatically. I will be using it, but I will also show you how to create the proof of concept, okay, manually. So let's see. We need to log in first. It says with Carlos Montoya. Let's log in here. We logged in. Let's save this. So according to here, CSRF vulnerability is happening in the change email functionality. I fired up Burp. I will write a random email address, update it. We'll intercept the request later. I want to see the page source. If you see the page source, you will realize that in this change email area, there is a form field with input email, and also there is a button, submit button. So while you're creating the proof of concept, you're actually creating a basic HTML file, and you need to include this form field that's included in the page source. I should probably fire this up so that we can compare what's going on. So I'm going to Burp, going to HTTP history, and here is the request. It's sending us a 302 and then 200. So what I will do is I will send this to engagement tools and generate CSRF proof of concept. For this one, I will choose the option include auto submit script because there is a submit button, and I want to include the script tag here automatically. So if you remember the source code, we have this form field exactly in here. We're including the URL, while here there is only the endpoint. Since we're creating the attacker proof of concept, of course we're including HTML body. This is comment, this doesn't matter. And there is history push state script tag that's also included thanks to Burp Suite. And as we clicked here, options include auto submit script, then regenerate. We also include the submit script tags here. So that looks cool. I will copy this. We'll go to exploit server. When I paste this, store it, it is solved. All right, so that was the method for it. I know this is not like the real life, but thanks to Portswigger, they created this exploit server. You're sending your exploit with the body input here. Anyway, we solved this one. Let's jump into the next one. So here in this exercise, there will be CSRF where token validation depends on request method. So in this exercise, normally when we change the email address, it's been sent with post request. But when we try to attack, because it's only possible to attack with the GET request. Now I will show you. I'm doing the exact same thing. Okay, we can close this. Here, as you can see, there's a CSRF token, but when I prepare this with engagement tool, create this, it will not allow me, it will give me an error message. So the only thing that works in this exercise is that I need to change this to GET request. So I send this to repeater and I'm saying change request method, which automatically makes it GET. Now from here, I will say engagement tool and generate CSRF proof of concept. I'm saying include auto submit script and regenerate. That looks okay. I'm copying this. Going back to burp, go to exploit server. Sorry, going back to Firefox browser. And when I say star, it says we solved the lab. So that was the way for it. So keep in mind that sometimes you may need to change the method from post to get. This may be the scenario. So the third one, CSRF where token validation depends on token being present. Okay, let's see this. We're doing the same thing, going login. And in this exercise, we all realize that when we remove the parameter CSRF for CSRF token, it still accepts our attack. So you may realize that during Pentest or Bug Bounty that there is a CSRF token, but it may not take into consideration. Yeah, happens. So I'm sending this. I don't need to send this to repeater, whatever. I will just send this to generate CSRF proof of concept. I will include auto submit script and regenerate. And here, when I remove the CSRF token, I will realize that this still applies in the attack. It doesn't give me an error. I will go to exploit server. In body, I will write this. We'll say star, and it says it's solved. Okay, it means it works. Closing these, and yeah, is it the fourth one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the fourth one. CSRF token is not tied to user session. So there are two users, and if we steal one of the CSRF token by dropping the request, not sending, because these CSRF tokens are only for one use. I will show you how now. And I can use the CSRF token that I have access to with this account for the other account that I don't have access to, let's say. So I'm sending this access lab URL here. What I'm gonna do here is that I will say change email and we'll say a@a.com. In here, I will intercept the request. I will say update email. I will copy the CSRF token. I will send this to repeater, it's okay. And I will say drop. Don't send this request. It doesn't matter. Now I will go here. I will say this update email. It's okay. I don't need to intercept on. You see the CSRF token changed, and I will send this to proof of concept, and we'll say include auto submit script, regenerate, and in this value, I will paste it from the previous exercise because it will still accept it. I'm copying this, going to exploit server. From the body, I'm pasting this, storing it, and it allows me to exploit vulnerability. Alright everyone, so the next exercise is CSRF where token is tied to non-session cookie. So what does this mean? What kind of vulnerability appears in here? I will show you now. So I fired up one account in here and the other one is in an incognito. I will write an email address and we'll say update email. When I go there, I will just send this to repeater so that I will have the CSRF key and CSRF token from one account, and we'll say drop because I don't want this request. So the next thing I will do is I will go to my other account, which is in here, and I will update the email in here. Now I will go to burp again, and what I will do is I will send this to repeater, and I will play with the values a bit. When I send this like that, it gives us 302. So the request that we saved from the previous account, for instance, if I say change the CSRF key here, something else, it gives me invalid CSRF token. So they are checking CSRF token, and maybe we can write the CSRF key, not token, sorry, from previous account. If we send this, it still gives me 400 because the CSRF key and CSRF token are binded, but not with session. So since I know my own CSRF key and CSRF token for the target account, let's say, I can send them together. It gives me 302 then. So in this case, I can trick the victim here. I will say generate CSRF proof of concept. So this CSRF token, which starts with H, is coming from the previous account, which I already have access to. These all looks cool, and in here after form, normally if I say include auto submit script, it was gonna give me the script tag, but instead of this I will write the following. So we are including an image tag with the domain that's given in here. Then we will add a search endpoint, and with here we will give our CSRF key, which is coming from the previous account. And again, we will submit the form. And if you send this to exploit server, this will give you the result. You will be solving the lab. So I'm closing these tabs, and the next one, CSRF where token is duplicated in cookie. So in here we will have another CSRF in email change vulnerability. It attempts to use the insecure double submit CSRF prevention technique. So we will see how to bypass it. To solve the lab, okay, viewers address, and let's see here. So we are doing the exact same thing, a@8.com, update email, we're going to burp. The request is in here. We have the CSRF key and CSRF token. As you can see, the CSRF key and CSRF token are the same. One is in this cookie value and the other one is in the body as CSRF token. So this will be really similar to the previous one, but we don't need two accounts for it. These are all the same, but instead of script tag, I will be writing the following. When I do the following, I just added an image tag with the previous, just like the previous exercise, I added an image tag with CSRF token, which is equivalent to CSRF key in this exercise. I'm copying this. Going back to Firefox, exploit server, for body, I'm writing this and storing it, and this gives us the result. Alright, in the seventh exercise, we are seeing that CSRF or refer validation depends on the header being present. Alright, I'm sending access lab. Login again with Carlos Montoya. I'm not sure if it's the one. Yep. So we're going to change email. Sending any value here. Okay, update email. So I'm sending this to repeater. So for the referrer value, if I'm saying something completely different, it says invalid refer header. If I'm deleting referrer, it accepts the request. So that's nice. That means I will completely delete the referrer using my proof of concept. What I will do is I will go and create proof of concept again. We'll say include auto submit script. And from here, I will add the following So I will add the following meta tag with no refer. I will copy this. We'll go to exploit server, go to body and paste this. When I say store, it is solved. So that was also another cool exercise. I'm closing these tabs, going to the last exercise. So it says CSRF with broken refer validation. Again, this is related to refer header. So the vulnerability again in email change functionality. It attempts to detect and block cross-domain requests, but the detection mechanism can be bypassed. To solve the lab, user blah blah. Okay, let's access the lab and see what's going on. Alright, I'm writing an email here, going to burp, closing this from previous exercise, going in here. So the thing you can do here is that we're going to create the proof of concept, and here in the script tag that burp is adding automatically the proof of concept, I will write in the third tab the original domain, which is here. So if I write this one, this shouldn't block me, and this should be the way to bypass it. Oh yeah, I forgot including this, and we'll write it again. This should be fine. I'm adding this to my exploit server. And when I start, it says you solved the lab. So this was the whole exercises for CSRF on Portswigger's lab, interactive labs. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let's see with more scenarios. We will see how to exploit CSRF vulnerability on OAuth mechanism. So we will be using OAuth from HacktheBox. And this is a bit hard machine, and it includes OAuth authentication mechanism, which I really enjoy, and you probably also see it in your pandas or bug bounty. If you're ready, let's jump in. I already did some basic enumeration, and I realized that there is anonymous FTP login enabled, and from there I found the notes file, and I realized that it's given us this information. So there are two servers, consumer and authorization. And for consumer, it's Flask has been used, and for authorization, Django is being used. So when I did my enumeration, I found this consumer ouch HacktheBox subdomain. Fired up these websites: consumer ouch HacktheBox, which is the consumer server, and authorization ouch HacktheBox, which is the authorization server. So what I will do is I will register with an account. Let's say username consumer and Kalisa, let's say. We can use this at kalisa.com, and password can be password, and here also burp is on, so we record all of these data there. Register. This should be like this, and save it, and now we can log in with this data. So when we log in, there is a menu page, there's a profile page which shows us username, email address, and also the connected accounts, which says no accounts connected. At the moment, since we didn't connect it, then we will do this process and we will see where the vulnerability exists. There's a password change area. I looked for CSRF vulnerability here because there were a couple of tricks. For instance, you could have removed alt password, you could have removed CSRF token. I saw this stuff and I was thinking that there is a CSRF vulnerability here, but that's a rabbit hole that didn't go anywhere. So in documents, this is empty at the moment. At the end of the video, we will see that we will reach out to admin documents. So in the about page, it's saying that this is a pilot project for OAuth authorization server, and it gives us a couple of information, and there's a contact page. So in here, I look for a couple of vulnerabilities such as XSS by saying href, and I wrote my own IP address here with a port that I want to listen. Something, and when we send it like that, there's a WAF behind this, and it captures by saying the hacking attempt detected. So we're not gonna do that, but what I'm gonna do is I will just listen with this, with my own IP address and the port that I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna fire it up and wait for a couple of minutes. I will see that there's a connection coming in here. So that's cool because I will use this feature later. So what I want to show you is that I want to connect this account with another account. So I will go there and I will register in here. Let's say this time authorization Kalisa. And we can again use this as email at kalisa.com. These information are not needed, and for password I will say password 1 dot, and we'll confirm it, password 1 dot. This should be okay. I save this and I will log in with it now by saying authorization Kalisa, and password should be password 1 dot. I successfully logged in. It gives me 2 endpoints. When you go there, it gives us an error by saying a missing parameter, and this page doesn't give us, it gives us a blank page. So from there, I did some directory brute forcing, and I found the following endpoint, OAuth connect. So when I do that, since there is an OAuth account logged in here, it will allow me to connect this authorization Kalisa account here. So if you go back to burp and see what is going on here, what kind of requests have been sent, we can maybe try to understand what's going on in the OAuth process. So as we mentioned before, OAuth is an authentication protocol which allows you to log in with other third-party login credentials that you have, such as Gmail, such as Facebook, such as Microsoft, etc. So when you click to authorize page in your web application, it sends us these 5 requests. And the first one, we're going to OAuth connect. We are logging in with OAuth, and we have this cookie session value. So the next thing we will have is we will be redirecting to OAuth server in here with client ID and also redirect URI. You also see other parameters here, but I am also only saying the most important parts. Then from there, it's redirecting us with this GET request to a POST request, which will prompt us to authorize, given this credentials with this redirect URI and all the values that we have, such as client ID. And from there, it will redirect us to redirect URI, which is with the authorization code. We have this here, and it will again redirect us to profile page. So if I need to rephrase it, let me summarize it again, because this part is important, because this part is the part where you become familiarized with OAuth process. So in the beginning, you're connecting with OAuth Connect to connect your OAuth account. So it gives us a 302 so that it redirects to authorization server, as you can see here with the endpoint OAuth authorize. And we are having a couple of values here, such as client ID and redirect URI. So from there, it sends us another page to post, which is which is allowing us to authorize here with the client ID and gives us another redirect URI. Then it redirects us again to our web page again, consumer, with the authorization code, which will give us the vulnerability here. And it sends us back to profile. So if you remember, we had this contact page here. So, you can use this vulnerability here to send a URL so that in the authorization server, so when the application receives the request from us, it will go to authorization server and get the information about the account that controls the login for the application. So I want somebody, hopefully the admin, to submit this request, and then I will be connected to their account in my profile page. So how am I going to do this? Let's see. If for the moment we are seeing this connected account as authorization Kalisa. So what I will do is I will duplicate this page again and will say OAuth connect. So it will give us the authorize option here. I will go to burp and intercept on. I will say authorize. It sends me the first request with the client ID and redirect URI as we already go over with. And I will say forward. And what I want to get is this URL with authorization code. I will copy this URL and drop this request. It's okay for it to give us an error. It didn't complete the process. So we will go to contact page again. And I will write my payload here with the following. So I will send this and wait a couple of minutes and will check the profile page regularly until it says there is no connected account in here. So as you can see, if we wait a couple of minutes, we see that no accounts connected. At this point, what we're supposed to do is we will log out from this account. And when I go to OAuth login, it's asking me if I want to authorize. I will say authorize and we'll go to profile again. And now it is giving me the QTC, which is the admin user. So when I go back to authorization server and do some directory brute forcing, I've realized that there is OAuth application register directory. So what I will do is I will use this credentials that I've found in here for this place to see if it will work or not. I will go there and we'll say develop. And when I say okay, it's given me this place for register a new application. That's perfect. Client ID and client security is in here. And for the redirect URIs, for the authorization grant type, I will choose implicit. And here I will use my own IP address. I can choose client type as public. And here account takeover. I will be listening port 80. We'll say save. So what I will do is I will be using the following URL to trick the user to give me the cookie. As you can see, I got the client ID here, and with the redirect URI, I will be using the following to use in the contact page. I will be copying this. Say again the same payload structure something and close a tag. I will be copying this and we'll go back burp in the contact page. We'll remove this and send the following. All right, I will wait a couple of minutes and it immediately came as a session ID. Right now I'm authorization Kalisa. I will go to cookie manager, manage all cookies. In here, instead of the session ID, I should write the following and save the current cookie. And when I refresh the page, it's given me QTC's account. So we did account takeover in this way. I think this was a really cool exercise. So let me go over everything that we've done. We go to consumer ouch HacktheBox on the port 5000. We go to contact page and realize that if you write a URL here with HTTP blah blah or with this XSS payload or anything like this, we are getting the response when we listen on this port. So from there, I also went to I also did directory brute forcing, and I realized that there is a page called OAuth connect. So from there, I realized that I can connect my account, which is created under authorization ouch HacktheBox. I registered in here and go back and said connect, so that I connected with the logged in account and authorization OAuth.HacktheBox HTTP. So I went back here, and these are the 5 requests that's completing the OAuth cycle, and starting with the connect, and which is giving me the session here. Then we continue with the client ID and redirect URI and the authorization server. We continue with the authorization server, which is with the client ID and redirect URI. And from there, it's redirecting us to consumer, which is web page again with the authorization code, which we stole here. And use it to trick the admin user, and then it redirects us to consumer profile again. So what did we do? We intercepted the request in this point, and we dropped the request in here with the authorization token. We saved this, and we went back to contact page and tricked the admin user or system admin user to use this. In this way, we connected our account with this admin user QTC account. So from there, we realized that there is the dev access nodes, and we found the credentials in here. We went back to authorization server and we did some directory brute forcing. From there, we realized that there is OAuth application register page. From there, we used the credentials that we found and client ID and secret in here. We wrote our own redirect URIs, and we parsed or created, let's say, the following tricking HTTP URL. So we wrote our redirect URI and client ID in here, and go back to this contact page to write the tricking message here. After waiting a bit, the admin user got the trick, and we stole their session ID, and we went back to authorization server and also account takeover for the QTC user in this way. I think it's a really cool one. If you're not familiar with OAuth authentication, I suggest you to read a couple of resources. There are amazing resources out there to see how is it working. I will try to include as many resources as possible in my blog posts and at the end of the video. Stay tuned for more content. Cheers. Thank you for watching my video. Stay tuned for more content. Cheers.